Have you ever been in a situation where something just didn't feel right? You're nodding along to a story, but your gut is telling you, hold on, is this for real? We've all been there, and let's be honest, no one likes to be fooled. So today, we're diving into the top 7 ways to spot a lie, because knowing the truth matters. 1. Inconsistency is key. Liars often forget the details. If their story keeps changing, that's a red flag. Imagine you're chatting with a friend who tells you they caught a fish this big, stretching their arms wide. The next time they tell the story, the fish is this big, and their arms stretch even wider. You start to wonder, was it really that big? Here's an example. Let's say your friend Jack tells you he was late because his car broke down. But later, he mentions stopping for coffee on the way. And another time, he says he overslept. The story keeps changing, right? That's because it's hard to keep a made-up story straight. When someone can't remember the lie they told, they end up giving you different versions each time. So if you hear different stories like this, it might be a sign that someone is not telling the truth. Keep an eye out for these changes. They're the little clues that something's fishy. Remember, we're not saying to doubt everything you hear, but it's good to be aware. Lies can be like puzzles. You just need to put the pieces together to see the full picture. 2. Too much detail. Over-explaining can be a sign of making things up on the spot. Keep an ear out for unnecessary details. Imagine your buddy Sam says he was late because he got stuck in traffic. But then he starts telling you about the blue car next to him, the song on the radio, and the coffee he spilled on his shirt. It's a lot of detail for just being stuck in traffic, right? Here's what might be happening. Sam is trying to convince you with all these details, but the truth is, he just woke up late. People who tell the truth usually stick to the big facts. But when someone's making up a story, they might throw in lots of little details to make it seem more believable. So, if you hear a story that's packed with tiny details, it could be a sign that it's not entirely true. It's like when you see a painting with too many colors. Sometimes it's just too much, and you can tell something's not quite right. 3. Body language tells all. Crossed arms, lack of eye contact, or fidgeting can all signal dishonesty. Picture this. Your friend Alex tells you he was at home all evening, but when you ask about his night, he won't look you in the eye. He keeps looking down at his shoes or over your shoulder. Plus, he's standing with his arms crossed, and he's tapping his foot like he's waiting for a bus that won't come. Here's what might be going on. Alex says he was home, but really, he went to a movie and didn't invite you. He feels guilty, so he can't look you in the eye, and his body is all closed off because he's keeping a secret. That foot tapping? That's because he's nervous, you'll find out. When people are telling the truth, they're usually more relaxed and open. But when someone's lying, their body might show the truth even if their words don't. It's like when someone says they're not cold, but they're shivering. You can tell what's really going on. So, if you notice someone's body language doesn't match their story, it could be a hint they're not being honest. Just like a mismatched outfit, it's a sign that something's not quite right. 4. Emotional disconnect. If their emotions don't match their words, like laughing while sharing sad news, something's off. Imagine your classmate, Mia, tells you she's super excited about her birthday party. But when she talks about it, she's not smiling, and her voice is flat, like she's reading from a textbook. It's strange because usually, when people are excited, they smile and their eyes light up. Here's a real-life example. Say your brother claims he's happy about winning a game, but he's not grinning or jumping around. Instead, he just shrugs and mumbles, "Yeah, it was okay." That doesn't really fit, does it? It's like saying you love ice cream but then frowning when you get a scoop. What's probably happening is that Mia's not actually excited about her party, maybe because her best friend can't come. And your brother might be acting cool because he doesn't want to show he's actually super proud of winning. When people's feelings don't match their words, it's like wearing a raincoat on a sunny day. It just doesn't make sense. So, if you notice someone's emotions aren't lining up with what they're saying, they might not be telling the whole truth. 5. Defensive much? When questioned, liars get defensive quickly. Watch for a sudden change in attitude. Think about a time when you asked your friend Tom why he didn't come to your soccer game. He starts telling you about a ton of homework, but when you ask more about it, he suddenly gets upset and says, "Why don't you believe me?" Here's an example. Imagine your cousin says she didn't eat the last cookie, but when you ask if she's sure, she gets all mad and says, "Why would I lie about a cookie?" She's getting really defensive, and it's just a cookie, right? What's probably happening is that Tom did have some homework, but he also just wanted to play video games. And your cousin? She probably did sneak that last cookie. When people tell the truth, they're usually calm and don't mind explaining a bit more. But when someone's lying, they might get angry quickly because they're trying to make you stop asking questions. It's like when someone says they're not ticklish and then squirms away when you go to tickle them. Their reaction tells you the real story. So if someone gets defensive out of nowhere, it's like a big sign flashing. Hey, something's not right here. Keep an eye out for these sudden changes. They can be big clues. 6. Too little or too much. Speaking in a monotone or overly animated voice can both be ways to cover up a lie. Think about your friend Ben, who's usually pretty chill. One day, he tells you he's just seen the funniest movie ever. But instead of laughing and smiling, he's talking in a flat, boring voice. It's like when someone says they're excited about a surprise party, but their voice is as dull as a rainy Monday. Here's an example. Your sister claims she's not scared of spiders. But when she sees one, she talks in a high-pitched, super-fast voice, like she's trying to convince herself more than you. It's like saying you're not ticklish while squirming away from a feather. What's probably happening is that Ben didn't find the movie that funny, and your sister is actually scared of spiders. When people are telling the truth, their voice matches what they're saying. But when they're not, their voice might be too quiet, too loud, or just sound fake. It's like when someone says they love a gift, but their voice sounds like they're asking a question. You can tell they're not really into it. So, if you hear someone's voice sounding different than usual when they're telling a story, it might be a clue they're not being totally honest. It's like a song that's out of tune. You just know something's not right. 7. Gut feeling. Trust your instincts. Sometimes you just know when something doesn't add up. Remember, while these tips are helpful, they're not foolproof. People are complex, and there could be other reasons for these behaviors. But keeping these points in mind can give you an edge in seeking the truth. Imagine you're playing hide and seek with your friend Ellie. She comes back from hiding and says, "I wasn't scared at all." But you notice she's breathing fast, and her hands are shaking a little. It's like when someone says they didn't run, but they're out of breath. Here's a simple example. Your uncle claims he didn't eat the last slice of cake, but you see crumbs on his shirt, and he's avoiding your gaze. It's like saying you didn't play in the mud when you've got dirt on your shoes. What's likely happening is that Ellie was a bit scared in her hiding story, and your uncle definitely enjoyed that last piece of cake. When people are truthful, their words and actions line up. But when they're not, there's a mismatch, like wearing flip-flops in the snow. It's about trusting your gut feeling. If something feels off, like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit, it might be because someone isn't being completely honest. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. Got any thoughts or experiences with fibbers? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from you. And if you're curious about more ways to navigate tricky conversations, check out the links in the description for some awesome resources. Until next time, stay truthful, my friends.